I'm going to go ahead and call this Saline City Council work meeting to order on June 5th at 6:46 p.m. Members present are myself, Mayor Morrow, Council Members CO, Dillon, Gearbaugh, McClellan, Mitchell, and Mayor Pro Tem Tahar. From City staff, we have City Manager Campbell, Clerk Royal, Treasurer Bennett, and Technology Support Coordinator Shank. The rest of you who are in the audience this evening, if you'd be so kind to sign in the back to my left, we would appreciate that. And at this time, the Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted unless there are amendments. As submitted, Councilwoman Dillon? Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Seconded by Councilwoman Mitchell. All those in favor of approving the agenda as submitted signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. We move on to public comments under the Open Meetings Act. Any citizen may come forward at this time, make comment or question to City Council. This public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone who would like to speak is requested, but not required to state his or her name and address for the record. Are there any citizen comments? There are no citizen comments. Then we'll proceed to the discussion portion of the work meeting agenda, which we only have one item, which is City Council laptops/tablets. Mr. Campbell, do you want to begin tonight's discussion?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief. And obviously, thank you for your patience, because I know we've been working a couple different times to try and get this information, have this discussion, and things have run long and haven't been able to do that. So the star of the evening is here. Chris Shank, our IT. Yeah, no pressure, Chris. So trying to, right, I mean, you all have had the discussion of what you all would like to see, and we've got a large, right, we've got from one end of the spectrum saying, don't want one, to the other end saying, I want to be able to do everything on city business. And then, of course, we have, at least from what I recall, everything kind of in between. And so we are here to listen and learn and help Chris figure out what it would be the best for you all to do this. So I guess, so Chris, if you wanted to give a quick overview of what you proposed as far as the equipment, those options and some of the highlights and why you might have proposed them, and then Mayor potentially going around the table seeing what people would like to see or not like to see. And
yeah, that sounds good. Chris, we are recording this meeting. I think it's actually being broadcast live. Very good. So please be sure to speak in the microphone, but the floor is yours.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for the introduction there. So, you know, as Mr. Campbell alluded to, we're trying to come up with a way to help enable you guys to make it simpler, to make it quicker, all-around better experience for your packet delivery. So right now it's traditional. We print them here in-house, then we deliver them to you guys by law enforcement, which they could probably do things better than that, than deliver a packet, when we have a way to potentially eliminate that. So what Mr. Campbell alluded to as well is I came up with some ideas to try to cover the bases on every possible angle to take it. So with management of the devices in mind, and also being sensitive to the budget and not necessarily going with a super costly experience. So the options kind of range from a real basic. You could look at a Chromebook, a really lower end device that you could look at as almost disposable, where it's not going to be really designed for a long-term kind of usage. It would be probably every 2 to 3 years you'd be looking at replacing them, to a more traditional Surface device, which I like the versatility of it, because I kind of think it plays every role. If you're looking for a traditional laptop, you can use it as that. You don't have to mess with the touchscreen. They all come with pens, so if you want to recreate your paper experience, you can throw it down and doodle all over it. So I guess with that, kind of how we tackled it. Yeah. We've got here. So the other thing too, this is kind of a fluid conversation. So this is the Surface Pro 4, which Microsoft has actually just announced they have a new one that's coming out. And then also, to the counter argument, there's iPads were just announced today, literally like a couple hours ago. So there's a whole new slew of them as well that might be able to kind of fit that need, depending on what you guys are trying to kind of look at, what kind of experience you want.
Chris, quick question. How problematic would it be to invest in an Apple product, since all the technology at City Hall is my understanding, is not compatible with that?
It would be. I mean, depending on what we want to do. Yeah. I mean, if you, again, I think it's more the experience you're looking for. I think if you're looking for a more traditional laptop experience, I would recommend going with the Surfaces. If you don't want to do the pen, if you don't want to, that would probably be your better option. But yeah, if you just want a consumption device, if you just want to open it up and just kind of flip through and read, I think the iPads would probably be fine. As far as the management role goes for my end of it, or the city's technology end of it, both devices are manageable on pretty much every level. So depending on, in the clerk's department too, down the road, there's top to bottom solutions as well for packet delivery and everything that would work on both systems.
Anything else you'd like to share, Mr. Shaw?
And no, I don't think so. Like, I'm looking for feedback, whatever you guys are looking for, whatever would make this easier for you, that's what we're trying to do.
Councilwoman McClellan, can I start with you? Provide any feedback that you deem appropriate. We'll rotate to Mayor Pro Tem Tahar and then end with Mr. Gearbaugh and myself.
Yeah, the discussion we had last time about, you know, everything that if we answer an email on our personal devices, that all of that is foiable. I am in support then of some kind of device. I don't really care other than I'm not an Apple person, and you would probably be getting a lot of calls from me if it was an Apple device, because I don't know how to use it. But I'll learn. It's okay. My kids know how to use it. No. Yeah, I'm like, how do I run? Where's the back button? This is what. Anyway, you know, I think efficiency-wise, paper-saving-wise, staff time-wise, I think it's a smart idea. I'm open to what your suggestions are. I do think probably for longevity's sake that something not bottom of the barrel is probably a smart idea, but I would defer to your opinions on that, and you're the one going to be having to maintain them, so I would be concerned about, you know, what kind of thing, if we go with a lower end thing, insurance-wise, or if something breaks, how much are we going to be putting out in repairs and replacements, that kind of thing, versus a higher end thing?
Are you looking for a device that allows you to utilize the pen?
I don't really care about the pen probably so much.
Okay.
I mean, I might use it if I had it, but I could get away without it.
Okay.
But I definitely think more of a laptop-based,
Okay.
for me personally, is more helpful. I don't use the touchscreen. I use on my phone, and that's about it. I mean, I have tablets and other things at home, and I don't use the touchscreen.
Oh.
So you lean towards a more traditional laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, very
Yep.
good. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's it for me for now.
Very
Thanks.
good. Mayor Pro Tem Tahar.
Thank you. One of my big concerns is, once again, the keeping city business all in one place question, and the policies and procedures that we would develop, FOIA kinds of things, and you know, currently I use my city email account. I also use my personal email account. I don't think anything I've ever done is FOIA-able, but of course, I could be wrong. But it just seems like having one device where I could just say, all of my city stuff happens on this device is a lot simpler for me, and also just in terms of abiding by any policies that we develop. Seems like we need to do that too. A single a device would be good. And, you know, I use a variety of devices, mostly Apple-based, but not completely. But I'm not worried about that so much. But as a non-native digital user, I still love having a keyboard. For serious work, I really need a keyboard still. That may not be true for everyone else, but it is true for me.
Does that get you towards a more traditional laptop as well?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I tab. Right.
Okay.
That would be fine. I
That
mean,
keyboard is
that keyboard would be fine. Just a keyboard of some kind.
Okay.
But yeah.
Getting away from like an on-screen keyboard where you're tapping, per se.
Yes, a physical keyboard.
Physical device.
Yeah. I mean, for reading purposes, I would be perfectly happy with a tablet, but for correspondence and emails and back and forth and asking questions, email kinds of things, I can do that on a tablet, but I really don't like it.
Thank you. Ms. Dillon.
Okay. This may go to Todd or to you. For clarification, are we no longer going to use our personal devices? Like right now, my city email comes to my phone, my city phone comes to my cell phone, and then I also can pick up my city email off of my laptop or any of my other devices. So are we moving away from that and we will only receive information on this one device?
Well, I guess my quick answer would be, it depends if that's what you all want. I mean, if you want to solely use that, you know, we could, I'm assuming we could disable as far as you receive in the city
Right.
stuff on your phone or your
Oh, no,
personal
no,
items.
no, I don't want to go that way.
Okay, I'm
No,
just,
no, I guess I'm just looking for clarification because what I sort of envision this whole laptop situation is something that I could use at the dais to find information while we're in meetings. Yes, I would get my packet on it, but we would have it in real time during meetings, and when we want to refer to budget items, we could bring that up. And I know there is the issue of making sure that everybody's on the same page about what you're looking at. As far as having a separate device, I mean, it's just another device, as far as I'm concerned, where I'm already getting stuff on my laptop and things like that, where if, and I may be wrong, but if my city email were FOIA'd, you can pull that off the server. You don't actually physically need my laptop to do that.
it depends what the other side is trying to discover. I mean, they could, I mean, they certainly could say, they could subpoena whatever, and then look at it and say, okay, well, I guess this one is good. Well, we'll forget about it. But I'm just saying, I mean,
We can subpoena the hard drive, that's how, I mean, it's just because it's on the server, we can delete it on the server, but they could and have subpoenaed the actual computer to find anything that was deleted in history and stuff like that. So if it was an issue, they could subpoena any device you use to access that information.
correct. Now, again, they may give it back to you, but
Right. Okay. Well, I guess it's all just a matter of, are you hiding something too? And so that's an issue in and of itself.
not to interrupt, but so to answer your question is the question you just asked me, from my perspective, that depends on what you all want to do with it. That's what we're trying to find out.
Right. And so I guess that's where I'm just sort of stuck as to what this device is actually going to do for me. Because truthfully, I need the convenience of having email on my phone. I don't sit at my computer all day long. And so I just don't feel like it would be timely to not have it that way. So that ship is sailing right there.
If I may, Ms. Dillon.
Yes.
I do not disagree with that. I use the desktop computer I provided in my office for probably 70 to 80% of my city business. There are times where I need to be able to receive emails and respond to emails on my phone. It would not be effective to wait several hours or days to get back into the office and respond with a city-issued computer. So I agree with you on that.
Okay.
And I would say, just to that point, some of you may recall a number of years ago there was a desktop in the council office as well, but because of lack of use and it was getting old, and so we just ended up removing it. Now, if that is a desire by council to have one, put in there that would be used, we could certainly put one in there. I'm not trying to muddy the water, but it just kind of a light bulb went off in my head when the mayor mentioned about he does have a PC, a desktop in his office.
So, okay. So I guess to that end, my choice would be whatever is most convenient for everybody. I just want a device that, if you want me to access my documents with that at home, then that's fine. But what I want it for is when I'm here. To be able to have it searchable, which means it's going to have Wi-Fi, I assume. Because we're not talking about getting cellular on, like the iPad.
No, in both, again, the iPads or the Surface lines, they all now have LTE connectivity. So that was another concern. If a council member potentially didn't have internet access, how would they get the information unless they went to the library or, some other public hotspot? So could look at doing that as well.
And is that an issue of using public Wi-Fi for the machines?
No, I mean, there's security policies we can put in place to encrypt stuff down. I mean, there's always a concern with public hotspots. If they're not encrypted, there can be some security vulnerabilities, but there's certain things you can do with policy to lock it down. I mean, I don't want to say everything's 100%, but there's ways you can kind of mitigate a lot of those risks without too much trouble.
Okay. So at the end of the day, you know, I'm in full favor of getting rid of paper, going electronic, and whatever device best suits the group is fine.
So just so I'm clear, Ms. Dillon, you want, your needs are pretty basic, that you want a device where you can search documents
Yep.
at the council days.
I'm good with the $199 Chromebook.
Okay. Very good. Anything further, ma'am?
No, I'm good, thank
All right,
you.
excellent. Ms. Mitchell?
So, as far as my usage, I would definitely want a keyboard.
Okay.
I'm on the fence about a pen. If I'm using my phone on the dais, it's because we're talking about, say, a park, and I just need a visual. Even though I grew up here, I still need a visual. So I would be using this to toggle back and forth and, you know, looking at maps, looking at documents. I would receive the packet and then just make electronic notes and comments right there. I would really be interested in having the budget given to us in an Excel form. That's something searchable, something that I can compare easily. I just assume that anything that I am using for the city, including my phone, is FOIA-able. I just figure that's the price of rice. So that's, you know, the pleasure of giving service is that my phone, you know, so I just use it with that in mind. I don't have a really strong opinion. I can use either Apple or a Surface Pro. I'm Scottish, so I don't want it to cost a lot of money. Okay. And I actually have used, you know, during my master's degree, I used a Chromebook, a $200 Chromebook, just fine, and had everything on the cloud. So, if you know, I hope that information is helpful, and if you have other questions, please let me know.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Seal?
Basically, I like paper. The batteries doesn't run out. If you drop it in the water, it only costs 10 cents to replace it. I can thumb through it very quickly, although it's not indexed. It's generally easy for me to find things. The downside is, of course, it's pretty voluminous as it accumulates over time. And then it does become more problematic in terms of sorting. If we're going to go electronic, which it appears we would, I would want a keyboard. And I would also then ask that please, please, please don't any longer send city business to my personal computer at home or to my Comcast account, because a lot of things come to both the city account and my Comcast account. I'm somewhat dismayed by the electronic leash that we all appear to be readily adapting ourselves to. I don't like to be, in other words, on a weekend, I rarely take my telephone. I do not have access to a laptop. I don't have access to a computer. I read almost every weekday what's on my city account and so on. But when I'm away, I'm away. So catch me if you can. But anyway, I guess, Chris, if you're going to buy those machines for everybody else, my only preference would be to have a keyboard. I don't need a pen, and I would just, the only reason I would accede to that is to keep my life simpler, not to make it more complicated.
Just for me, I want to make sure that the software and stuff that we use is compatible. Good example of that, today I wanted to use the online storage that we use for our agendas and so forth, and it's almost impossible to use it on my Apple phone because it doesn't want to scroll to the right side of the window. So whether, I would think that we want to make sure that if it's not going to work on an Apple system, that it works, because I know that usually is an issue with Apple. So I want to make sure whatever machine we do is compatible with the majority of everything that we use as software.
So, Dean, just for clarification, what were you trying to do today?
I used my phone. I wanted to go on and look for the agenda. And when you use this phone, you pull the screen up, you can get to it, but it doesn't resize itself correctly. And then it'll pop open the window, and then it leaves a big banner bar on the bottom. And the only other way you could look at it is if you open it up into like Adobe. But of course, the iPhone, you can't. I couldn't store it online. So I want to make sure that whatever device we have, if it is a Mac, that we can actually take the document, download it, and save it. Okay. Because that may be even better if you don't have Wi-Fi connection and so forth. Just a temporary type thing. And then the reason I would want to have like the touch screen is so that if we have a document or something and I want to be able to zoom in on it, I want to be able to pull it up so that we can look at that. So I'm not sure if the Surface can do that.
We can, yeah, you can, you can pinch and zoom.
And Zoom, yeah.
Depending.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I agree, I don't think we need the cellular service. I've got a hotspot on my phone or whatever, and the city has Wi-Fi, so I think that's good. So my just concerns, again, were just the software issue, and we don't have to have the top-of-the-line Surface, but just so to be able to download something and whatever other software. So if we can have, I don't know if we need, do we have an Adobe license or anything, or? That would
Well,
be-
that's going to be part of it, definitely with the first month, where there's going to be a reevaluation of the whole workflow, of how agenda items come in, and to try to set all that up. So yeah, we're going to try to simplify this as much as possible.
Yeah, for the most part, my thinking is I just want to be able to access everything that's on the servers and then necessarily download it. But then I'm also going to deactivate my link to my city email account and have it just go to the, I know it's going to be on the thing, but I don't want to have anything forwarded to my devices.
To your personal account.
I'll have my own city account instead of personal, and no longer have a personal account like that.
When they, probably when we issue the machine, the device, we'll have an election form to how you want your other, how you want your emails and stuff. And then we would also have the policy that you would have to have read and signed off on as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, other than that, I think that's where my thing is. The reason I just want a new device is because mine all are different versions, and the thing that I'm concerned about with a Mac, if we buy not the newest one coming out, will we have compatibility issue 2 or 3 years down the road with the operating system? Because this is turned into a brick, pretty much. I can't do anything more.
There is that concern, and that's kind of why I'm leaning more towards the services as well. We've still got some initial services. The 2s and 3s are still, I mean, that's the first generation Terry's on, and they're still plunking along. So,
And that's why usually with a Mac, I mean with a PC type based or whatever, you can go for quite a ways. So, thank you.
Additional questions of me? Mr. McClung, did you have one? And then Mr. Hart, and I'll jump to Mr. McClellan.
So to Janet's question about whether, you know, we want to have something that's going to go on vacation with us, that's going to go, you know, that we're not, if we're not taking that device, that's still doable, is that correct? It's just that that device would be foilable, correct? So, I mean, if we decided to still have it on all our other devices.
Subject to, no matter what you did with it, no matter where you took it, it would be subject
still
to
be-
the policy of ODOT.
Right.
About
So,
the appropriate use. Okay.
so, I guess, you know, I think I don't have an issue with, I mean, it would just be our choice whether or not we wanted, I just like the idea of having something that's separate, that's all in one place, that I don't have to try and remember this is on this and this is on that, and find this email and that email, that kind of thing, so.
So this has already, I think, been partially answered. The lifespan of the Surface Pro is, compared to the Chromebook now, is quite a bit longer. So,
you know, some of it is opinion, I'm not going to lie, but I feel like the Surface are a higher quality product. I mean, the Chromebooks, like I said, they're much lower level devices as far as, you know, build quality. There's a lot more plastic and stuff. These are pretty durable. I mean, short of smashing them, you know, we've had pretty good luck with them.
and, okay, that's helpful, thanks. And then also, is there an advantage? I imagine there might be an advantage to you to continue to use devices that you're already supporting and not add a new one, a new kind of device and new operating system into the mix.
Right. It does make it easy, especially from, you know, a training perspective where we, you know,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
across the board, keep it all the same.
Yeah, okay. So I'm okay with Surface Pro. I don't know if I said that specifically, even though I'm an Apple user. I have a Microsoft speaker in my household. So one last thing. This is actually just to verify. I have been asked if we go to electronic devices, whether paper copies of all the council meeting materials will still be made available to the public in the lobby.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I said, but
And
I
I
just
would
wanted to
also-
verify
I
that.
would also be pretty emphatic that if a council member requested, for example, draft one of the budget in a printed copy, that if they directed that inquiry to the clerk's office, that copy would be made for them.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Dill, did you have something, ma'am?
I think he was just answering.
Okay, we'll go to Ms. Mitchell then.
So just to piggyback on Dean's minutes on demand issue, I have that problem as well. I access minutes on demand frequently on my phone, and I don't know if it's more of a site issue, that it's not a mobile-friendly site rather than the phone. But
Without getting too technical, yeah, it is the Minutes on Demand website. It's not really designed for mobile. It doesn't scale like you guys are saying. It's built for a wider resolution screen. When you try to, look at it on the phone, it doesn't quite measure.
Okay.
The concern has been raised. They're aware of it. I mean, this is,
Are they?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is something we brought up.
Okay, great, thanks.
Any other questions? Mr. Shonk, we appreciate your help. As I
you.
stated previously, I'm fully in support of providing devices for council members. The city has generously provided me with a desktop. That's more than sufficient. I do not need an extra device. Everything can be emailed and sent and stored on that desktop. And I would probably print off an agenda to utilize at a regular meeting. But it sounds like you've got consensus, and we'll come back and report on this issue in the very near future. Very good. Mr. Campbell?
So if we provided services, any issues with that?
What are you asking?
You only have to stay on the surface. If they're coming out with new ones, maybe we'll get a deal on the last version. We don't need to have the most
Sure.
current version.
Sure. Is that, I just wanted, so we have a consensus that we're going to provide the Microsoft Surface at some level. And then we'll work on, and right now the plan is to bring, at least for the first review of the policy at the next meeting, the June 19th meeting, the policy that Mr. Smith is working on.
Maybe seek approval at the first meeting in July. Good.
So we will,
We were going to use the dollars in this fiscal year, so we need approval in June,
right,
and to receive them in June.
so we'll, I guess,
Because we're using the proceeds that we received back from the 147 Monroe Street property.
or
and that-
207.
207,
Well,
whatever,
we can-
Monroe Street.
Well, Ms. Bennett, we can entertain a motion at the next meeting to purchase the devices. And then, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take from when you purchase them to when they arrive, but we'll make sure that before they're distributed and used, we have a policy approved.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought you were approving the purchase of them at the July 1st meeting.
No,
My misunderstanding.
Sounds like we have consensus, and we can put it on the next agenda, and people, there'll be a motion, there'll be support material, if people have questions and concerns that they don't think they will have, we can reach out to staff in advance of the meeting, we can take care of it.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else for the good of the order? All right, then anticipate approving payment for these new devices at our next meeting, the second meeting in June, and we will most likely review a draft policy at that meeting and then entertain approval at the subsequent meeting, which will be our first meeting in July on July 3rd. Is there anything else to be brought forward this evening? At our work meeting, that is. Then the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn at, let's say, 7:14 p.m. Moved by Gearba, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Mayor Pro Tem Tahar. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. This meeting is adjourned.
Okay.